Kam Raslan, Bob Holmes, and Arvind Sidhu joining me to preview match week 32. Two matches played already. We heard Wolves beat Villa, and of course Southampton with 3-1 winners at Watford. Tonight, or rather 3 a.m. tomorrow, you've got Crystal Palace, entertaining Burnley. Both teams are safe, so that one's a 0-0. We'll move on and talk about Brighton against Man United, Kam Raslan. It's a Wednesday, 3:15 a.m. kickoff. Now, there's a lot of talk about Man United pushed the full 120 minutes in the FA Cup. So people like Fernandes and Harry Maguire are going to be a little bit knackered. And Brighton, well, they've been good since the resumption.
The little bit knackered thing is going to be a theme till the end of this season. The teams that can keep their energy and their fitness up are going to be the winners. But I don't know, Ross. I mean, how are you going to cope? How you dab your little eyes as tears come down when Brighton beat Manchester United? Because I am not. I'm thinking this Manchester United is a little bit patchwork. It's not exactly the first team. There are players in there who shouldn't be there, but there's no choice. It's not as cohesive as it should be. I mean, I think Brighton will be rolled over, but I don't see any certain victories for Man United coming to the end.
All right, that's a 3:15 a.m. kickoff on Wednesday. Bournemouth against Newcastle. Bob Holmes. It's a chance for Steve Bruce to solidify Newcastle's position in the top half. I said top half of the Premier League. And yeah, exactly. Newcastle, top half. Who said that in the last 10 years?
Well, they're not actually there right now, are they? They could get there. But this is a pretty tasty-looking fixture for Bournemouth, I think. Newcastle, we'll use the word knackered again. They could well be knackered after their exploits last night. They're going to travel all the way down to Bournemouth, which is one end of the country to the other. And Bournemouth have been rested over the weekend. And they are seeing a glimmer of hope because Aston Villa and Watford are playing so badly. So I think Bournemouth will see this as their best chance for 3 points in the remaining games, actually. Home game to a team that's just played a tough FA Cup tie 48 hours earlier. Barely 48 hours, isn't it? Yeah, I would go for Bournemouth here. And if they get 3 points, it puts them up with a fighting chance. And one club we haven't mentioned so far is of course West Ham. They could actually slip down there.
We're coming to West Ham. Yeah.
Bournemouth could overtake West Ham in the table. West Ham and Watford. I'm looking at the table right now as I speak to you, and I could see them leaping up 2 or 3 places if they win tomorrow night. So all to play for there.
Bournemouth, Newcastle, then Thursday, 1 a.m. kickoff. Sorry, Kam.
So one player who I think would really struggle with adhering to COVID-19 lockdown would be Andy Carroll. You have to chain him in, I think.
That's a terrible picture you just painted it out. Arsenal against Norwich. It's a Thursday 1 a.m. kickoff, Arvin. Norwich will be without Tim Klose. Arsenal, we know they've got injury problems, but it's a must-win now for Arteta's Gunners.
It is. And if there's ever a game which Arteta wanted his players to come out blazing, get a couple of goals, build up more confidence, it is this game against Norwich at home. I mean, besides Tim Klose, they've also, I understand, missing Christopher Zimmerman, Sam Byram, Grant Hanley. And you would think that originally the Norwich defense is already bad. And then you throw out all their defenders literally not going to be on the pitch. If there's ever a time for the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, who started, I don't think so Lacazette will be brought back into a league game, but Alba will be fit. He'll be there to try and get a couple of goals. So if there's ever a game and ever an opportunity for Arteta to build confidence, get a couple of goals, put a team a little bit in hiding, which has been a while since Arsenal has done that, is this home game against Norwich. So, but then again, it would be the total Arsenal thing to kind of mess it up as well. So interesting propositions for this one.
the Arsenal thing. It's actually a football saying. All right, Kam Raslan, looking at Everton against Leicester. Don Carlo has been doing good work at Everton, but Leicester, Chelsea are not far off now, and Leicester before the lockdown were what? Champions League certainties. Now they're looking over the shoulder. They're thinking they can't really afford to lose at Goodison Park here against Everton.
Yeah, when they were playing against Chelsea just now, I felt very concerned because they were doing the Leicester thing, and those patterns of play which they're very good at. But Vardy, for instance, was just misfiring. They were all not quite at the correct level, and they need to be. But getting back to that level that they had before would be very hard. But it's a kind of team where they have to be 100% in order to succeed at the game that they play. So I would hope to do that. Everton, on the other hand, it's just not a team I even have a point of reference for whatsoever.
Lin Chu's got a few choice words to say about that.
I think even she would be hard-pressed.
All right, let's move on, Bob, to West Ham. You highlighted them before. They're in deep, deep, deep trouble. Of course, they were most voiceful about getting the season null and voided. We're now back playing. They don't look like David Moyes can save them. And next up is a home tie against Chelsea Thursday morning.
Yeah. I think of all the people that should go down after their comments during the lockdown, the early days, they were the leading null and voiders, weren't they? Or Karen Brady was, anyway. I think most neutrals would probably wish that West Ham went down and regard it as poetic justice. Old-timers like me always remember that West Ham won the World Cup in 1966. So I do have a soft spot for them. But they're not looking good. Chelsea are looking very good. This is a London derby, no love lost. And both teams are going to be up for this. This is now becoming the ding-dong battle that the league were hoping for the end of the season. Cracking relegation battle, cracking battle for the top four places. And here we've got a real contest. And I think to all intents and purposes, Chelsea should win this. They mixed and matched in the FA Cup. They have rested a few players and they're on a roll. And West Ham are on the opposite. They're on the slide. And David Moyes, for all the good things he did at Everton, he's not the most inspirational of managers, is he? No. He's not the kind of guy you would go through a brick wall for. You can see it in his team talks, and I don't think he's getting that response from West Ham. That's what he needs now. He needs those players to really go through a brick wall for him. And against Chelsea, a very high-class Chelsea team here, now scoring goals from all directions. I can only see one winner in this, and it could look very bleak for West Ham.
All right, West Ham Chelsea Thursday, 3:15 a.m. kickoff. Arvind, Spurs are away at Sheffield United. Tottenham are chasing, they're hoping to boost their European hopes. They ended a 7-match winless run with a 2-0 win over West Ham. Spurs, I got to say they look favourites in this one because Sheffield United haven't looked good so far, have they?
No, they haven't. Pre-COVID, you would say that this would potentially be a place where, Spurs going to Bramall Lane, they're gonna struggle because you know what to expect from Chris Wilder and his team. They're gonna come up with you, they're gonna bully you, they're gonna play enterprising football at the same time. But since I thought Spurs looked quite good against West Ham, to be honest. And credit where it's due, it's because quite a lot of their players have come back from injury. The break has been very, very kind to Spurs because Harry Kane has come back, Moussa Sissoko has come back, Son Heung-min has recovered as well. So the attack on the quality on the day with Spurs and how Jose Mourinho has actually right now to a certain extent turned it around, not fully yet, but he's getting them in sort of some form of a right direction, would put Spurs as a favorite for this. So yeah, it's still going to be a close game, as I think they're only separated by a point on the table as well. But I would expect Spurs to just kind of eke this one out a little bit and just get the win at Bramall Lane.
All right, that's a Friday 1 a.m. kickoff. The standout tie of match week 32 then is Man City welcoming the English League champions Liverpool to the Etihad. Kam Raslan, guard of honor from Pep Guardiola's boys, and rightly so.
And I'm sure they're looking forward to it. They're really trying to work out exactly how they're going to do it and the smile on their faces and all that kind of thing.
Who's going to clap first?
Yeah. But how can they complain? Liverpool have been absolutely magnificent. I think that Karen Brady's remarks about making the thing null and void, people really hated it because people wanted to see Liverpool win, actually, quite frankly. And otherwise, if this hadn't been the case, I think people wouldn't have cared so much. But will Man City make a game of this? I am sure they will. And will Liverpool want to prove that they are the true winners that they are on paper? I'm sure they will. It should be a great match. And I just want to say, one of the things that people often forget, actually, is Pep Guardiola's mother died during this COVID-19 pandemic. So, I don't know, good luck to him.
Bob, the biggest question mark for City is how long will Pep Guardiola stay at City? His contract expires in 2021. There's still the ban, the European ban, that's to be decided in July sometime. A lot of things in the air there regarding the future of Man City.
Absolutely. A very uncertain period for City. I mean, it's partly their own fault. Obviously, the court cases. Excuse me. And I think Pep's future will also hinge on what happens there. But they're still a very good side. It's amazing that Liverpool can be so far ahead of them. When you look at some of the football that they play, I mean, City bossed that game in Newcastle. Okay, not much opposition, but 85% possession. I mean, there was only one team playing, wasn't there, for much of the match. I mean, they've not lost their ability to pass the ball around. And even when they're missing Aguero, they can still find the net. They're still a great side, which makes Liverpool's achievement even greater. But if the court case goes against them, it could actually trigger an implosion there with quite a few players, Kevin De Bruyne being the leading light, declaring quite openly that he's off. If they're banned for 2 years, he's leaving. And Pep, I think, could be influenced by this. If he sees anybody else jumping on that bandwagon and he's got to start rebuilding the team all over again, I think he could be off as well. So very, very crucial decision coming up there.
Okay, your match week 32 matches then, Palace, Burnley, Brighton, Man United, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, Norwich, Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea, Sheffield United against Spurs, and of course, Man City versus Liverpool. I've got to say thanks to the guys, Kam Raslan, to Bob Holmes, to Arvind Sidhu, and thanks to you guys for watching. We'll be back with a full-length video on Friday.
Now then, the referee looks at his watch.